I think everybody's been in that moment in their life. They just didn't care, especially if just want to move, you want to do something, make a movement, do something, create something.
So when you saw them, or when you started breaking, did you think it was breaking, or did you think, oh, well, I don't care what it is?
Oh, when I first saw breaking?
Oh, when you started, when you really started, also when you saw Style Elements. Now, and you were getting into it, you were getting into the dance.
Well, I automatically already knew what breaking was. Breaking was already around.
Right.
It's just seeing it live or seeing some of these guys, that was, they, to me, they were already surpassed, they were already doing something. They're already doing, starting something in life. I was a kid, I was just a kid, so I was watching them, watching videos, what I'm saying, or anything like that. It wasn't the club life. It wasn't, jumping and running and going to raves or anything like that. Or, majority of our time and what they were actually doing, B-boys was at raves, and in Sacramento, the Bay and everything like that. So that didn't come along until later, probably like high school time.
So, but I mean, talking about Style Limits and how they danced back then, do you have the feeling as if the dance was a bit more free, more liberal?
Yeah, absolutely in ways. Yeah, it was a more free thing. It really put on the stepping of where freestyle session was. Because that was some of the times actually when I got the chance to see them and actually see them in person. I just like how open-minded they were. Open-minded about the dance and open-minded. Yeah, I love even a lot of them. What I'm saying? They don't. Some of the guys right now, they're not as dancing as much. Like one of the other guys that's actually dancing as much right now. Poe is like another guy, but he stays in Australia, so I wish I could see him more. Ramon stays in Montana, so I don't really don't get to see him as much either, really right now. But Frankie's another guy that actually dances with me now. Ronnie Ruin is another guy that actually that dances with me now. But it's small right now. It's just small right now. Rebuilding, just waiting.
Well, Style Elements is not the only crew that you were in.
I'm in California too.
Well, it's a big name, huh? you guys won freestyle session last year, did you?
No, we didn't.
No, what was that?
No. We won freestyle session 13.
Which was? Which year?
The Thanksgiving one. Yeah, the Thanksgiving holiday one. Actually, we battled Massive Monkeys. California battled Massive Monkeys. I think now for the fourth or fifth time now at a freestyle session, and we battled them again. Actually, at that one. Those are good times.
California, another big name, huh? So now you're Style Elements.
You think it's a big name? I think we're just a crew.
California is a big name. I mean, they won also Freestyle Session International in Japan. They won it twice, right?
Yeah.
So
I wasn't a part of all those.
I was judging, by the way. Yeah, but then still, what happened to Zulu?
Zulu? No comments.
No comments? Okay.
What about Rock Force?
Rock Force. I won't talk about my personal things of actually the different crews. Yeah.
Okay. So now
that's disrespectful because they're not here.
No, cool.
Yeah.
It's all right.
So I just want to let everybody know that this is the law I live by.
Still, I want to talk to something personal about you.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more about your father. Now, you said that your father was a singer, and your mother?
My mother, she was a nurse and actually an activist.
Right. Now I want to hear something about
it. Here we go.
Wow, I didn't know. See, you could have told me that in the past. Now I have to tickle that out of you. Now, when I met Machine, he was like, so what are we going to talk about? It was just like the way he said, he was like, I don't want no surprises. Now, one thing that I noticed is, I was living in the U.S. for a while, and life in the U.S. is totally different from life to Europe. Especially, I think that in the U.S. you are by far more confronted with racism and different races on the planet, which I think is stupid, than over here. Over here, somehow life works much better together than over there, but it's because of the history and everything. So now, on your DVD, you had a quote from Martin Luther King. Do you know it by heart?
No, I don't. No, I don't know it. I don't know it by heart. I don't watch myself. That's why I don't. So I don't have my DVD in just every day.
So the quote was, I wrote it down. I just have to try and read my handwriting now. I hope I get it together. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and conscience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. That's Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes, it is.
Why did you use that quote for your DVD?
Because I think for a lot of b-boys nowadays, they think making it, and I can only speak from experience and myself, they think making it or anything like that is like it's gonna last. You know, and everybody here gets their first, 15 minutes of fame or anything like that. Everybody does. And I think that's something that everybody should know to be patient for. It's not just something that you're all rushing in to get. That means everybody's not gonna get it. But look at a man where he actually stands at when he's actually in pain. How does he conduct himself before breaking point? That's what I see from, from that quote, where I stand and where I stand in my life. Don't look at me so much as like, oh, he's a glamour this. I'm just some regular dude. It's like, damn.
At the same time, you quoted Martin Luther King Jr.
I loved him when I was in school.
So,
I used to read a lot of his books too.
I mean, I was reading a lot about him and everything. I know a lot about it. I don't know how it is in the general public over here in Europe.
Right.
But then again, I'm a bit older than most of the guys also. I've experienced a lot of things. So maybe you could just drop just a few things real quick who Martin Luther King Jr. was.
Does anybody in here know who this guy was? He fought for civil rights movements for us in America to have, rights and marched with Jesse Jackson, numerous other legends of his time. A lot of great speeches, a lot of people wrote on him in school. That's some of the books that we actually had when we were kids in school.
And the bill on civil rights passed by Lyndon Johnson in '63. So 1 year after your dad was born.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, how did your dad grow up and how much did that reflect on your life?
We can honestly say for black people at that time, it was a very tougher time. That's a lot of the stories that kind of like my father basically told a lot of us, they didn't grow up with a lot of things. I didn't grow up rich or anything like that. I believe a lot of you guys in here probably didn't grow up or anything like that. Didn't grow up with a silver spoon. So you got a lot of struggling stories. How my brother, them growing up, or my father and them actually living in, 1-bedroom houses or anything like that. You want to get out of that. So you use singing or you use dancing.
So also by using the quote that you used, you wanted people to know that you were struggling.
No, I don't want to say that I can struggle and I can still uphold myself and be the person that I need to be. That's one of the biggest things of that quote. Don't look at me as just like, oh, glamour. Oh, it's this glamour. Oh, it's this showtime. Or this, that, and the other. But to, show respect even if you don't see it. Because you never. This is all by motivation. Motivation of what you see, the things that you see in your life, or anything like that. It's that motivation. So if that motivation, dies or anything like that, I'm still the person that I still am.
What I got out of that quote is like basically, if you don't struggle, you also don't develop any character.
Absolutely. Yes.
So now looking at the DVD and looking at what you made out of your life, and to me it all makes sense. It falls into place, especially once you see the DVD. I wish we could watch some video. It's nothing teaching in Belgium together. And the way this guy works, man, and it's so natural for him, right? So now I always tell people first thing you learn is how to fake that move. Like you learn something from somebody else, you fake that move. And then you stumble, I don't know, it doesn't feel really good. It feels stiff or whatever. So you do that move. So that's the first part. Once you feel like, okay, now I know how to do it, that's when you put the time into it. So that's when you got to bring it into the music. So that's the second part. That's the second part, and it's going to take a little bit longer. So now you have to repeat that move as many times as you need to repeat it to really drop it on the music in combinations with other movements and so on and on, so that you have it. And then comes the third part, where you have to make it look pretty, right? And to make it look pretty, and yeah, exactly. Like you have to, as a dancer, I always say that you have to make the hardest move. The hardest move you have to make it look really easy, and the easiest move you have to make it look really hard. Yeah. So, but then when we were in Brussels and we were teaching together, this guy used to do like all kinds of moves with them, all kinds of exercises, and then he was like, "Right, and now let's just do like 2/8 real quick." And so he went with 2/8, and then in the middle of it there was this flip, and machine just went, and he went right on beat perfectly. And every time they had to run through, they had to do the combination, and it was really short. Everybody was struggling, and Kenny and me were in the corner. We were like, "Oh, machine is killing them," because they did not understand. They did not understand. Also, they did not understand how much he must have practiced it to not just do the move, to not just do it on the timing, but to also make it look so easy. As it was amazing. So Kenny and me, we were just watching him over and over doing that combination.
All down across the board, man. I love music. I just love all kind of music. So listen to lyrics to music. Listen to things that actually going to move you.
Right.
That moves you, not just a bunch of sound.
When I see you dance, also when I see how you're teaching, is that the same way as you're practicing as well? Because I see you do like, especially when you're teaching, that on one hand you're teaching a lot of method, so it's not really about like, how when most of the guys when they're given a dance class, they teach you choreography, which is basically like painting by numbers. So you learn how to go from one move to the next, and so on, and you're more busy getting all the combination in your head than you're thinking about the movement. Now, what I've seen with you is that you're teaching very rudimentary. That you're using one or two moves, you put them together, you go from left to right. I'm talking about that combination you do as well, where you're going in a swipe, and after you go into a baby freeze, and you go back in a baby freeze, which is one of the hardest things to do. And I wonder how many times have you done it to make it look that easy?
Yeah, plenty of times. Plenty of times. When I'm training, I train the way I know I'm going to battle. Try to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Climax in the middle, of all that, somewhere, et cetera, always. That's how I train, when I'm at home. When I'm teaching people how to conduct yourself in situations. If you watch it, if you're watching anything, like I was explaining this to the Chicago class. Majority of the time when you're battling now, you're not really battling in circles. Most of the time when you see in a lot of the B-boys that battle, they're not battling in circles pretty much. Pretty much the battles actually happen on stage. And with that happening, you have to learn how to move your move left to right. In front of the judge or in front of the crowd. So you're moving in this straight line. You're not moving like this. So majority of the time when I'm teaching like footwork or anything like that, I'm teaching something that is, the simple things. Eventually if you do the method or you do these methods just like, it's been taught to us or it was taught to me from watching videos and watching old school videos and everything, you know what I'm saying? If you show the basics of the methods, you'll find your character of life or find your character through who you are, through the methods of doing something basic. Until you think, okay, I've done this 100 times. Okay, so now how many different variations can I have that? Never turn it off that move. Never turn the move off. Never saying that a move is just done after it's done. After you learned it or anything like that. Never turn off the move because there's so many different variations of that move. And as you get older, as being a B-boy or being a B-girl, you're going to find out, at a time at your life you're like this and you're doing something that is like, and it's effortless. But then there's going to be a time where you're actually going to see it and it's going to be like, okay, or a night. I won't even say a time and age, but a night where you might not want to do that move and go that crazy, or you might not even have the spacing for it. So now you have to learn how to take that same exact move and make something either smaller out of it, or something big, or in the middle for your situation in life, because every situation is not going to be the same when you dance.
So basically, you have to drill the move 100 different ways until it feels so natural that
second nature. Second nature of your life, or second nature of your dance.
Can you say another thing about conditioning? Because you are conditioning people that practice as well and in your class.
Only when they're late. Only when they're late. I'd love to do it. I love to show people, that side, or showing people like, look, you gotta take care of your body. If you want to say that you're the best, or you want to say that you want to be the best or anything, you gotta start doing that to your body. Everybody loves to eat McDonald's. I'm gonna sit here and be a liar and say, no, I don't eat McDonald's or anything, whatever. I'm just being honest with you. But you have to take care of your body. You can't eat junk food or any crazy thing like that and expect to, be able to fly around, or to be able to, it's going to catch up with you eventually. So you have to take care of your body and start figuring that out now, or anything.
What does it mean for you?
That's a big thing for me. I'm 30. I'm 30 now. I don't move like I did when I was 18, or, when I was 19 or anything like that. I want to, and I'll try to do that as much as I can still. But it's hard day in, day out if you keep trying to do that every single jam, or, as frequently as you do. So, just try to, try to do something that's, either going to be, easy that night, or it's going to be hard. So try to figure out something in between. Just keep drilling and making repetition.
To get deeper into that, do you think that there's look at the machine that you are now, right? Is there something like a problem zone, or somewhere where you are struggling, where that there's a deficit, or in your dance where oh man, I wish I wouldn't suck in this. Or
I think everybody goes through that.
Yeah, but out of your mouth, I would like to hear that out of your mouth. If there's anything like that you would still like to achieve, like a movement or a trick or something that when you saw it and you went to practice, that you were like, oh man, this is just something I think it's going to take me too much time, and I have other things to do.
I think it would be the flare.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
You don't do flares?
You see how much Storm doesn't watch me? You know I don't do flares.
Well, you do one air flare. You do air flare. Well, if it's not.
I do old school flares. Old school air flare. Not the newer age ones. Not from the top. I was learning those for a while.
Oh.
Yeah. The top.
Yeah. Wow.
But I like my flare. I like my air flares. I like that.
Yeah, me too. You're an air person anyway. I mean, sometimes I have the feeling you spend more time in the air than
love to jump.
touching the floor. Yeah.
That was the basketball.
Basketball. You tumbled as well?
I used to tumble. I taught myself how to tumble. I broke a lot of my dad's and mom's, the box springs, the old school box springs. Yeah, I broke a lot of those when I was younger, flipping on the bed and everything. Yeah, as a kid.
Trampoline as well?
No trampolines. No trampolines.
Just beds.
Just beds, outside in the grass, down the hill, and everything like that. Me and my brothers, we played outside a lot. We tried to be outside a lot, We were very, athletic. It was a challenge. It was one of those things. It was a challenge for us. 5 boys. It was a challenge all the time.
If you have
through the house,
if you could think quick, all right. I mean, you could correct it later on or something if something else comes to your mind. But if you would think about the perfect b-boy, right? Are there 4 characters? Or let's say 3 characters. I'm not talking about b-boys now, right? I'm not talking to mention b-boys. It wouldn't be right. Like just out of other lifestyles, out of history. 3 people in history that you could think of that would make, as a combination, that could make the perfect b-boy.
Definitely, a ninja would definitely be in there. A ninja definitely would be in there.
Nice, I like that.
Definitely would be I would say a basketball player. That's something that I learned. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a ninja, definitely a basketball player. Albert Einstein.
Oh,
somebody that's smart. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna, recognize exactly what's going on. And a boxer.
Okay.
It's about the spirit at the end of it. Knowing what it is to take pain, and take a punch and get back up from it.
Nice.
Knowing that he's not probably going to win everything in his life or every round in his life. So, yeah, that's
a good combination. So for everybody, see now that's coming from his mind. And now when we look at the way he's dancing,
when you get ready to battle me,
when you see that coming from him, now that's the way he's dancing, it all makes sense. You know, that's the way he sees things, and it's really interesting. So what's going on in the future?
in the future, right now, taking care of my new family. I'm a father, and I have a wife. I'm doing theater right now. Going back to Blaze actually for a month. I work in Los Angeles, so I do a lot of different projects actually in Los Angeles. I run a dance company that we do a small business and everything like that back at home. Keep creating, man. Keep creating.
So your professional life, I mean, you are a B-boy by heart, down to the bone, everything.
And artists are what I do.
So you make a living off a dance.
Yes.
You have your company.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to say? Tell people about that and the dream they have.
Dance as much as you can. Learn something about business. Learn how to take care of yourself throughout this life. Don't rely on people. Rely on your friends all the time. And make good relations and stay optimistic, man. As you being a dancer, stay optimistic as much.
So you're married to a dancer as well.
Yes.
Makes it easier, no?
Oh well, she understands the terminology and the pain sometimes.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, since you're traveling so much, I think other people can't really deal with that kind of lifestyle unless they kind of know what you are dealing with.
Yeah. Very true.
What's the dance company called?
Hit the Full Productions.
You have it for how long now?
I've actually had it now for 6 years. I started this when I got to Los Angeles. It was not just an easy life when I got to Los Angeles. It wasn't somebody just coming in and giving me some kind of job. It was nothing like that. Work was hard. Work was painful. Not having as much. So I created something out of nothing. Me and my wife. And it's been going good. Being honest with you, it's been going good. Not complaining. Not at all.
So what's Westbound?
Westbound is a dance company that's umbrella under Hit the Flow Productions.
Okay, so you have different dance companies there?
No. Just explain it right. Hit the Flow Productions is our productions, and Westbound is umbrella under that is the dance company. Okay. Westbound is the dance company.
Right. And she's just been in Norway?
Norway.
Or Tromsø,
Norway. If anybody don't know it is, this is like I think maybe like. Is it 2 hours from the North Pole? Was it something like that? I'm serious. You put your hand up like that. Like I figured that you was actually from there. You're from there? I'm just trying to get it correct. Are you? How far are you from the North Pole? You're not that far from the North Pole. 2-3 hours, right? Yeah. Very cold place. Very cold place. Ice block. 24/7 kind of cold.
How long have you been there?
I was there for 3 months.
Wow.
Right?
Yes, it was.
And it was a piece called Alexander the Great?
Yes.
So how was it for you? How much did you actually have to work on dramaturgically to understand also, to get into the whole story, Alexander the Great and so on, to do the production, to do the choreography?
Every day. That was an everyday thing. That was, I was sometimes going to sleep maybe 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I was working on the choreography side. I didn't really do too much of the acting side. So we had dancers that was basically doing it. Reveal, which was from the States, he was from our crew. And Nasty Ray from Boogie Brass, that actually came. 2 other dancers, B, and another dancer named Nikolai, which were they were from Norway. I worked on a lot of dancing aspects. So that was, I'm being honest, Storm, that was like every day. Every single day. Taking notes, numerous notes of all the time. It was something new. Like I was open to it. I was definitely open to it. But the workload was very challenging, which I like. I like a challenge because it makes you better at the end of it. If you're not challenging, if you're not being challenged, you're not really pushing anything for life.
You know what I'm saying?
Was that the only theater production you've done so far? Or
Yes,
you've done,
yes.
with,
I was happy.
with
I was
hit,
happy.
but with Hit the Floor?
No.
Like nothing is planned for?
Well, we done like a couple theater things actually in Los Angeles. You know, like Juice Hip Hop Festival. You know, and for that, just to give you a definition of what that is a festival that people get together and they do. I don't know if they really raise money for it, but it's a way of getting your dance company out there, letting people see you, and the people that work behind it actually, you know, they're giving people a chance to do that in Los Angeles. You know, everybody doesn't get to be seen on TV or get to be seen, you know, and the Grammys or dancing behind this person, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so this is something that actually to, you know, let you just be free, let you be with your peers, y'all being able to, you know, learn what it is to be on stage, you know, and perform what you're doing, or giving the perspective of what you think what dancing looks like.
Do you think that actually, not just that it gives you a chance, but it also gives the dancers?
Yeah, give the dancers. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Exactly what I mean.
Wow. So when you look at b-boy now in culture, you know, and you know, like in society and where it stands, do you think it has its right place?
Better now. it better. I mean, to me.
I mean, when you look at Hollywood, and when you look at, you know, how people are creating false realities through all the Hollywood movies, and I mean, you've done music videos as well, you know, like Alicia Keys and all that kind of stuff. It creates false realities in a lot of people. So, but when you look at theater and the theater production you've done, do you think that that's actually the place where you would like to see the art form as an art manifested rather in the theater, or would you like to see it rather in Hollywood movies?
I just want to see it.
Mm.
That's it. Seriously. And I say that
Because it's all part of the reality.
yeah, I wanted to see it. I just want to continue to keep seeing this. You know, I don't want it to actually be shined away again. It's what you quote unquote see from, you know, the old documentaries or from, you know, the older people who's like, you know, they got shined away from Hollywood or anything like that. I want it to be set in stone that look, we might not have we might not have a Juilliard art school or we're getting a degree, you know, from ballet or jazz or anything like that, but we're doing something. You know, we've been doing something. It's a movement of people that is doing this, you know, and that want to learn how to do it, you know, constantly, every day. I don't want to see it going away. I want to see it on TV. I want to see people, you know, actually making some out of it, you know, or, you know, not necessarily reality TV shows, God, but anything like that, you know what I'm saying? But actually, you know, it's still being seen in movies. You know, it's getting its chance, you know, as anybody else, as any other actor or any other, you know, sports player that's making millions of dollars or anything like that. I would really love to see a b-boy or b-girl that actually makes $1 million off of it.
Nice.
We got an airplane in gymnastics now.
You have an airplane in gymnastics?
Airplane in gymnastics. This year at the Olympics.
Kind of. Yeah, there's a lot of controversy on that if you've been watching the internet.
Exactly. Lately.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I got to the end of this, but I'm sure that people have a couple of questions for you, probably. To you, and they tell you like, well, now you're in the theater. Now you have to change things. No. There's a reason why we're in the theater now. You know, and I'm doing my art. That's it. I only produce my things without control, without compromise. Right. You know. So now at the same time, when I'm looking at the Hollywood movies,
it's just Hollywood.
And it's have to say that. And what's beautiful,
Hollywood.
It makes people curious. If we wouldn't have had those Hollywood movies, a lot of events, like maybe also IBE pre-secession and so on, they wouldn't be as big, and you wouldn't have the same approach. So yes, it creates a false reality, but there's hopefully a day where everybody that's living the false reality is waking up by coming to the real jazz. And that's it. Everybody lives a dream. I mean, if we're going into flipping Star Wars in the movie, you know, like, I mean, my son right now, I mean, he thinks that Darth Vader is real. So he asked me the other day, he's like, Daddy, if Darth Vader is not real, right? is Santa Claus for you? You know,
It used to stand there like, oh God, we got to that stage.
it's all right. I like to see it everywhere, and it's all inspiring.
Next question. Actually, I got it two. First question, you mentioned you got 30. Me too. How often you train? If you're training every day, how you succeed to recover it next day? That is how often you
Let me
train
answer
is
that
the
one first.
And the second question is different. Why Alexander the Greatest?
Why Alexander
You
the Great?
ever you even been in Macedonia?
Macedonia?
Yeah,
Never.
but why Alexander the Great?
Because that's what the director and them chose.
Sorry, because
No, it's okay.
probably
You don't have to apologize. It's your question.
my English not
It's
the
okay. It's all right.
I understand 80%.
But to get it straight, the production was called Alexander the Great, and he was choreographing.
Yeah.
So the whole dramaturgical part and so on was done by somebody
It's a
else.
different
The whole
department.
theatrical part was a different department.
Yeah.
In the theater, he was there. Everybody has his position, like I said.
Okay, I understand now. I changed my question. How do you like the Alexander the Great?
I haven't watched the movie since I was a kid. So I can't really, I'm totally be honest with you, I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid. When we studied it, it was rechanged actually during the theater show. It was totally rechanged. It was made into something actually, I don't really think the classical movie, you know, Alexander the Great, it didn't really have anything to do with it at all in so many ways. I think in that sense of what they showed it was, you know, was this kid that wanted to find himself doing something, and eventually he ended up, you know, finding that, you know, regardless of if he's not following his mother or if he's not following these guys that are dancing or anything like that, you don't have to follow. You have to do something on your own. You know, standing on your own eventually through life. You know, but your second part of your question, for training, I train every day. I train every single day of the week. I take the weekends off. But Monday through Friday, I'm training. I train, you know, I do exercising throughout the day and I dance at night. You know,
How is it for you while traveling?
what do you mean? Say that.
Like if you have to practice, and you say you practice every day.
Yeah.
How is it while you're traveling?
I get to do this while I'm traveling. So
Well, sometimes you have like a 24-hour flight going to Australia.
I'm not going to dance in the airport. Just chill out. No, I've never traveled 24 hours on the plane. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. So I guess I got good luck right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going on wood on that one. You know, but honestly, yeah, I haven't. You know, through travel, you know, it's mainly it's doing this or being in classes. You know, if you're going to teach, you got to be in shape. Yeah. If you're going to battle, you have to be in shape. You know, you have to show up for the job that you actually are asking for.
Are you tired every day?
Everybody's tired every day. That's why you stop and go to sleep. It's very simple. You know, no, I'm not tired. I try to push and have better endurance. You know, I don't want to actually be 30 years old, and this is no disrespect to anybody, nor you. Nor you. But I don't want to be 30 and then actually talking about me slowing down. You know, I have a lot to still live for, even at the age of 30 right now. I'm 29 right now. I'll be 30 at the end of this month. You know, I want to go backwards. I want to do the Benjamin Button thing. I want to get younger as I get older.
How do you feel when you don't practice? Off balance.
I'm a Libra, people. So I feel off balance. You know,
I'm a Leo. I feel off balance.
I feel off balance. I'm being honest, and I don't let it linger. I do not try to let dance linger no more than maybe 3 days, or I'm feeling back off balance again, or I feel like I have to get, or like an artist, or you know, I don't even mean to quote this guy, but I mean I've seen this in his documentary, Lil Wayne. He said he can't wait to actually get to the studio and get the things that he has out of his head. And that's how I feel when I get ready to dance. If I'm not dancing more than after 3 days, I've got to get something out of my body. I have to move. I don't care if I have to move back my table and just move for the first like 15 minutes or, you know, or anything, you know, and stand outside in my backyard, you know, by my garage and dance, something, you know, I just have to move, do something,
anything.
So how many times have you asked yourself why you do this?
Plenty.
You found the answer?
I don't want to find the answer really right. Yeah, I really don't. Teach my youth.
Okay.
If I figure that out right now, then you'll start seeing gray hairs. I don't want that right now. I want to look youth.
So you know why I'm asking you?
Why?
Because I still ask myself.
Oh, you? Huh? We're two different people.
Does anybody know? Does anybody know why we're doing this? Why we're throwing ourselves on the floor every day and do all kinds of things?
We love it. It feels
Yeah,
good.
but then why? Because it feels good. Come on, it feels good to go home with bruises.
I was sore after 7 to smoke last night. I still love it. I'm going to go up and dance after I get done with this interview. Yeah, even with bruised legs. I don't know. I don't want to find out really right now. It keeps making me heal like every day. I'm always dancing injured sometime. Most of the time when you see me dance, but it's just the love of it. So I love dancing.
So what happens if you have an injury? What are you doing?
Sitting still. When I was younger, I used to get frustrated. You try to sit still and try to meditate your body and actually heal. I feel like if you're in a bad mind state when you actually, when you get injured, it takes longer for you to actually heal. So understand that there's a reason why you're injured. And there's a reason why you can't do what you need to do right now. Maybe it's something that you need to actually go back and work on. You injure one part of your body, make the other side stronger. That's one way of looking at it. But if not, sit still. If it's a major injury, like groin pulls, hamstrings, a neck, I had a neck injury. I had to sit still for like almost 7 months, 7, 8 months, just sit still. Yeah, this sucks. Seriously, this sucks. I can't move. I can't really do what I really want, what I'm thinking in my head, or anything like that. But it made me stronger in other parts. It made me have to work on something else. Okay, I can't do this. I can't put my head on the ground. Okay, I'm gonna make my arms stronger right now. Make my legs stronger. I'm gonna go run uphill. You know what I'm saying? And, endurance my head. So I'm gonna get my waist down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do windshield wipers or something like that. And just make something more better on your body than when you got this fatigue or you got this injury.
Knowing now that this is your life, have you ever thought about a plan B? Or you also don't want to think about it? And this is the right name, this is the wrong name, you have to learn this. Don't waste time on that too much. It's all about communication. It's all about communication. And everything you said, that you just love to watch the dance, you just love to dance yourself, and you just love to develop it into something that becomes you. So that's the main goal. As long as you're happy with it, don't let anybody tell you what you have to do.
Yeah.
If I would have listened to these people, I wouldn't be here no more.
B-boy would still look like it's actually a structured thing. It would be a ballet.
And it's
B-boy is not B-boy and B-girling is not a ballet. It's definitely not a ballet.
And it's because of people like Machine that it's not gotten boring. You watch battles and you go like, I'm sitting in the judge's seat or at home and I'm like, when I'm watching videos and I'm excited. I'm watching this because, we need new things. There's got to be something new. Otherwise, it's going to go downhill. So no matter what you're doing, as long as you do something different, your life is going to get different as well.
I say one thing before we take off. Do your own digging. I know nobody never asked me that tonight or anything like that. Start doing your own digging. And I mean like really do your own digging. Do everybody in here know what I mean by I said digging? Terminology, hip-hop terminology. Be your own DJ. Leave the computer alone and asking somebody, what was the number at, 33, what was that song? And then wait for somebody to ask you. That's not really digging. Learn that actually you went in and you found that record, you put that record on, or you found that song through the internet to play. You did that finding. It helps you. It helps you as being a dancer.
What was Kevin saying yesterday again when we were on the bus? What were they calling this one song? They called it the battle. Like, was it? Oh, do you have the Casper versus?
Oh yeah, that started a long time ago. They named the song. They named one record after me, and it was a '90s song. It was a whole '90s song. I don't know.
I think it was like a Freestyle Fellowship song, and I danced to it, and they called it in France, they were calling it the Machine song, and I was like, I can't call that copyright, that's not my copyright, the Machine song, I was like, oh man, no, I just know what the dance is. I remember that from school, you know, I grew up on it. You can't knock what you grew up on, and you really, sometimes you don't try to forget what you grew up on. Music was one of those things in my house. You know, I grew up on.
So now every time you watch some videos, you go to IBE or to other events, when you see people on stage and you ask yourself anything, you best write that question down so that when there's an opportunity that you see the guy, that you can ask him. Or even when you see that person on the street or something, if it is something that you want to know, always ask. Okay? We got to wrap it up. We got to
Thank
leave.
you.